How's it going, everybody? It's Panuma back here again with another episode of Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. And today we're going to be going over the virtual Dokkan Battlefield event that's come out to JP. Now, I'm going to jump into what is involved with the rewards for this event before we go into anywhere else, just because it takes a little longer to get into because of the Baba Shop. But on the third tab of the Baba Shop, there is new currency that has come to the game with the new virtual Dokkan Battlefield. So if you see on the bottom of, below the red dragon stone is the purple, I just call them the purple stones because I guess Dokkan like to have everything in stone form. But you have purple stones that you're able to use for the event to get, first of all, the LR Ginyu to start off with, to get SSR Ginyu. You can get the first one for 7,777 and the rest, other four come with 12,000. Dokkan Battlefield is in beta phase at the moment, so getting the purple gems is not as easy as it probably will be when they actually release the full version of the game. And we might get unlimited tries per day, and they might not have a cap on only letting us do it 3 times a day. But right now it's only in beta phase, so we take it for what it is. So these are the medals that you need to either Dokkan LR Ginyu into his UR form, or his TUR form, excuse me, and into his LR form. And with the new rebirths that come out to the game, you have to use these emblems to Dokkan Awaken or rebirth those characters into their rebirth form. And with the new LR SSJ2 Gohan coming to JP, probably by tonight when I make this video, you will need 77 of these bad boys just to Dokkan Awaken him into his LR form. Now at 5,000 a pop, that's a lot of gems that you're going to have to farm. So it's probably not, they're not going to let us get it right away, just considering we have a cap on the amount of attempts that we can do on the Battlefield mode. So just expect it to be a little bit more of a grind. Or they might give us more gems as it gets out of beta. We'll have to wait and see. Plus 5 character cost to the Battlefield is 20,000 gems. So you're going to bring an extra 5 characters for each time you level this up. Looks like you can do it 10 times. So 10 times 5 is 50. And this one gives you a plus cost on the amount of characters that you can bring with you. Each character has a cost that's associated with the character depending on what level they are. So you can bring higher cost characters when you level this up at 10,000 pop for 20 times. This one gives you plus 1 to your act. I believe it's the stamina or maybe the attempts that you can do on Dokkan Battlefield. So that's 25,000. That's a lot. I know I've only gotten about 11,000 so far in one day of attempts. And you can get Elder Kai medals. I've gotten one already because I've had to use it for one of my characters in level 10. So you can get it with that. The first one was 10,000, this one's 12,000. And then you can get some of the starter ones. This one's important because you're going to be using it for the LR Gohan when it comes out to JP. And you can get other rewards like the Elder Kai and the Supreme Kai, hourglasses, training medals, other type of dupe system orbs that you can use towards them, all the way up to the epic ones. Training items like the gravity ram, shells, and so forth. So now when you go into this mode, you have to click on the blue one to go to the Dokkan Battlefield mode. Now basically, what is virtual Dokkan Battlefield? I've gotten my information just like everybody else has off of the Dokkan Reddit. So virtual Dokkan Battlefield is a new game that lets you play with a max of 100 characters SR or higher. So you obviously bring your best cards, but you may have to bring some other SR cards that Dokkan Awaken into SSR cards. So there's 2 phases to this mode. There's a battlefield phase and a boss battle phase. So the battlefield phase and the boss battle stage form a single stage. You move on to the next stage and you complete both phases. The key is to think about which 100 characters you want to use in each type of event. Now, there's characteristics of different types in the battlefield mode that most people are failing to realize when they play the mode for the first time. They get kind of frustrated and they're not sure what to do. So basically the AGL characters are able to move at a lot faster pace so they can go across the screens a lot quicker. That's their quirk. Tech characters can attack multiple enemies, so when there's groups of enemies, they attack multiple ones to dispatch of them quicker. Int characters have high damage against the barrier of the enemy, so I'll go into that in just a minute. Strength characters have a high attack value, so basically they hit a lot harder. And your physical units are actually the tankers, blockers of either the wall or defending people itself, because they have an increased HP count on there. So that's their biggest thing with that. So when you go into this battlefield mode, you have to be a rank 150 and above. That's kind of the stipulation with running this mode. They don't want anybody playing that's less than that, just because it's obviously probably too much logistics side. Playing this doesn't cost any stamina at the moment. It's just 3 times per day, I believe. And maybe later on when it gets out of the beta phase, you might be able to do it more times. But for now, it's just a limited amount of times, just because it's only beta. So cool thing is, when you're running the event, you can actually pause and resume the stage by clicking on the bottom right. You can actually pause the game to just kind of weigh out what your options are. You can also retire from the battlefield and the boss fight phase if you like, just so you can go on to the next stage, or you can attempt the next stage. Excuse me. So when you get into the battlefield phase, you have to select a team of 100 people. You can only select 100 team max, and I believe it's 10 minimum. You can only select SR or higher characters. Characters that are lower rarity than SR won't show up on the screen. In your battlefield mode, the cost of a character is determined as 1/10 of the original cost, so it rounds upwards. Your later skills and passive skills are not active during battlefield mode, and a character's attack will be higher with higher super attack levels. So basically, they've been getting us to try to get all our super attacks a lot higher, just so that you can push through the mode a lot quicker. You can't use special cards, and unlike regular guests, you can select named characters in your battlefield. You can select same name characters, so if you have an Dokkan Awakened Super Vegito, you can bring him as well. So when you start the gameplay, I'm gonna do a fresh run because I was at level 10. So as I was saying, you get to choose your characters. I have the majority of what I think is good for my team, and the rest I just selected. This button in the blue lets you auto select your highest level characters, just to have a mix of characters. So I think I have a pretty decent character list of all different types. So when you first start the gameplay, you'll have 5 random characters that will be presented to you when you start the stage. You have to drag and drop characters on the field, and it will spawn at your barrier on the left side of the screen. So this is what the game looks like when you first start. At the bottom there you have now this is the pause button. At the bottom you have a character roster of random 5 people. It seems like the objective is to put down physical characters first to defend. Level 1's pretty easy just because the enemies are pretty weak. But as I was saying before, physical are your blocker units, strength are your higher attack units. Your tech units are your multiple attack units, attackers, and your GLs are the ones that go faster across the map. Ints do a lot more damage to the barrier of the other team. So there's 3 different lanes, and I'll show them when I start off, that you can put your characters into. It's all AI based, so you have no control of when you drop them. They just kind of fight on their own accord. It seems like it's a slightly bugged right now, but I'm sure that'll be fixed when it comes out after beta. Biggest thing to remember is when you deploy a character onto the field, you can't redeploy them onto the next level. They're basically gone until you either run out of the characters, or your barrier gets destroyed basically, or you die at the boss. You can restart when you get to a certain level, so if you're at level 10, you can go down to the 7th level and restart at that level to continue your run. At that point, all your characters are refreshed, so it lets you kind of refresh your character list and be able to use your better characters when you want to. Each boss has a certain one character they have to fight, and they're all attribute based, so you really have to see who you want to bring with 4 characters just to capitalize on that, because they get a lot harder as the stages go on. So that's the biggest thing. Your cost meter's at the bottom. It's in the blue bar. It slowly charges up over time. You can reload if you don't like your cost, but if you don't like your character roster of the 5, but it'll refresh the stamina cost meter, whatever you want to consider it. So all the fights are on auto mode. Characters beat when the HP is 0, or you lose your barrier, or if the barrier of the enemy gets destroyed. Basically, you have a defensive line between your characters, and you have to defend, which is your barrier. And boss battles, you can choose up to 7 characters to fight into the boss barriers once they pass their defensive line. Basically, once you get into the boss battle, attack later skills become relevant again, and passive skills also as well. The only thing with the boss battle is you can't use items, you can't use Dragon Stones Continue, you can't select a friend. So it's just a straight up 7 match battle. After I'm done this, I'll go over the rewards. There's stage clear rewards that I failed to go over each ones. I can give you a rundown, a slight little bit of what they are. And basically says when you clear 3 stages every day, you get 200 purple gems. Excuse me. Daily again, when you beat 50 enemies, you get 300 purple gems. When you first play the Dokkan Battlefield, you get a Dragon Stone just for playing. When you clear stages 1 to 20, you get certain rewards as well. When you beat 10, 25, 50, up to 3,000 enemies, you get various rewards per milestone as well. And basically you get, every time you beat a level, you get more Dragon Stones. And the 20th level, you get an Elder Kai. So that's kind of the biggest thing with that. So I'm going to go over and start a match here. So as you see, they come out as like a straight line. So right now I don't have any really great units to defend. So I'm going to wait for my Vegeta to go on. I'm going to drag him up there, and he's going to defend. So when they're closer to the barrier, they get a lot more HP. Unfortunately, he's fighting a unit that he's not strong against, but that's fine. I know the first one that we fight against is against SSR Piccolo physical. So I'm just going to use some basic strength characters to go up. See, when he gets up to the top here to the right and he starts attacking the barrier, it'll start taking damage, and their HP of the barrier is right here. So I have 3 characters out right now fighting. I am going to deploy. It's like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta's having trouble because he's against an AGL unit. So see, he got destroyed, so he dies. I'm going to put out Gohan just because I want an AGL unit. Now see, as the barrier gets close to being destroyed, it starts to crack. That's the big thing. Now see, enemy defeated. Once they get past, it says cleared. It says how many people have gotten through. If you go up to here, it says who you're fighting against. So I'm fighting against Physical, SSR Piccolo. So I'm going to have to put out a few more strength units, preferably. I'll probably just put out some fodder units as well. So I'll put out Kid Trunks. I'll refresh this. I'll put out Bardock. And one more would be good. So I'll put out Beerus. He'll be my last one. Now you can go in with less than 7 if you want, but the rest of the units will be Cybermen, so that's the only downside. Alright, so once the 7 through, you get to choose who you want for a leader. I forget what his is, so I guess I can just use him. Not a big deal. Later on, it becomes more relevant, which leader skill that you want to use. So keep that in mind. So I'll use him to block just because he's a strength unit. So. I'm hoping that he can get a super. Yeah, he can get a super off, no problem. Alright, that super should kill him. He doesn't hit too tough the first level. I've gotten up to level 15, I believe, so far. That's my highest level. And at that point, you really have to bring specific units, or it gets pretty tough. So this is the victory screen. Shows you how long it took you to defeat him, how many gems you get, and you can retire here, or you can continue on to the next one. Now, it says if you want to quit, but the purple one is the one that you would click on if you would like to go to the next level. So anyway, guys, that's just a slight overview of... Oh, yeah, you can stage skip. I forgot to mention that as well. as I was saying before, that is the video. Slight rundown of the Dokkan Battlefield. A little bit longer, like a longer spaced out video, long-winded, I guess, but there is quite a bit of information to go over. You really have to strategize what characters you want to bring to each level, because as they get harder, a lot more enemies will spawn. So you have to be kind of wary of who you put on, where you put them on, who attacks the barrier, and who can get through, and how you defeat the boss. So, but yeah, guys, that will be the video. Thank you all for watching. Please subscribe if you're new to the channel. I would appreciate it very much. More content will be coming out. Just the more subscribers I get, the better the content will become. And hit that little bell button as well. Keeps you up to date with my videos and keeps you up to date with all the new information that I bring out for Dokkan Battlefield and Dokkan itself. So thanks a lot, guys. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.